Okay, so in this section, we're going to take a look at the basic structure of a Vue project and also really pay attention to components and how they work. So the first file that's worth taking a look at is right here at index.html. All right, so the thing to really pay attention to is div ID is app. All right, so this kind of serves as the entry point of the app, and everything in terms of the view is going to be placed within this div ID. Now, we also have to pay attention to the name that ID is bound to. So outside of that, let's go to the source. And then the next file we want to take a look at to understand is main.js. So we're importing Vue, an app, and the router because we did specify we want the router for our project. Next, we create a new Vue app by running new Vue, and then the element is bound to the app ID, and this is corresponding to this right here. And then we're passing in the router, and then the template is app, and the component is app, and this is in relation to this imported line right here. So this is corresponding to this file right here, which is app.vue. All right, so this is a basic component, and this is the entry point of our app. So we have three different sections. Components have templates, we have the script, which defines the logic of our app, and then we have styling for our styles. All right, so very simple to understand. Everything is contained within a single file for each component, and they are reusable. All right, so the thing that we want to do here is open up components. So we have a default hello.vue that the CLI generates. And again, same situation. We have a template, we have a script for any of our logic, and then we have our styles. So for our app that we designed in Adobe XD, just to take a quick look at it again to help us understand, so we have to look at this layout in terms of the structure and how we want to structure the components. So if you want to think about it this way, we have the main app component that we just covered, which is app.vue, and think of it as being an all-encompassing component that will contain everything. And then we must decide, okay, what about this navigation or this header? Should that have its own component or not? We also need to think about the fact that we do intend on having multiple pages. We designed one of them, which is the fact page right here. Basically, this content right here, all this stuff is unique, as well as all of this content over here is unique. So each of these, which we'll call this home, will have its own component, as well as fact will also have its own component. Now the header, or the navigation bar up here, as well as the footer are elements that we want to remain on the page at all time, despite which page they happen to be on. All right, so let's go ahead and create our home component and our fact component, and then we'll also a little bit in the next lesson we'll go ahead and start doing the HTML for our header up here, and we'll see that we'll be able to declare the template for the header and the footer right within our app.vue, because notice we have this tag called router-view, and this is where our components will be put into for our home and also our fact. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm going to take this hello view. I'm going to right click it and just rename it, and we're going to call this home. Now, if you're running the npm run dev command, the app will break at this point because we're renaming files, but we'll address that a little bit later. We can go ahead and gut everything between these two HTML elements. We want to leave the div class hello here as well as the template, otherwise they will break. All right, so we're just going to call this one home, or I'll just put in home there just temporarily. We're going to rename it here to home. We'll rename this class to home. We don't need any data right now, so we can just get rid of that. All right, that's good. Let's go ahead and save this. And let's go ahead and also create a new file. We're going to name this fac.vue. Go back to our home. Just going to copy, hit Control A and then Control C, and then paste everything in here. And for this one, again, we'll just make this fac. The name's going to be fac. We'll change this inner text real quickly just to the fac right there, and go ahead and save. All right, so next we need to go into our router. So we have a router index file right here. And this is where we define the paths or the URLs along with which component they are associated with in their names. So we don't have a hello component anymore. We have home. I'll just copy and paste this here. And we'll copy this and then also import fac. All right, so this starting path or the root of our app, we're going to make this home. We're going to put a comma after this first object and create a second one. And this will lead to fac. And the name, of course, is fac right here and here. And that's it. So this is where you set up all your individual routes. And if you were to fully build out this app, of course, you would have more objects here to define the other pages. So that looks good right here. So let's go ahead and save. And now make sure you have your npm run dev command going. And here at localhost 8080, we'll see that we have just this logo because we haven't removed it from the template. But we see we have home, which is being put in the router view. And then also if we go to fac, we'll see it changes to fac. All right. So that's basically how the Vue application works in terms of basic setup and as well as the router and the components. Now, of course, we're going to get into much more in-depth topics regarding those two aspects. So in the next section, we're going to get focused on integrating the Balma CSS framework and also probably begin writing out the HTML for our header. All right.